Thanks for everyone for joining us today on our training topic of Canvas, and the topic is Gradebook today, this afternoon. Today's session brought to you by Hongfu, along with the other training sessions this week, is being recorded, and you'll have the option of viewing it later. And be sure to moderate your microphone while Hongfu's doing the session, and then if you have questions, be sure to use the chat feature, and we'll put some links out there in the beginning and at the end today for those do it both times for those that join us later, so if they join later they don't miss the links. So we'll get those shared with those today. And again, if you're brand new to remote or online teaching, we recommend that you visit these links and the resources provided, especially the preparing and planning page on the remote teaching and learning resources. It will have that link along with others. And be sure to utilize your resources, such as the Global Campus Instructional Design Team. We'll provide that email address, and of course our ITS help desk, and we'll provide that link as well. And again, the K-State Keep Teaching training session webpage will have a lot of good sessions and tips on there, and I'll provide those in just a minute. And again, prepare your questions and put those in chat at any time, and we'll get to those. Laura may step in and provide some answers as we go, and if not, we'll get to those at the question session. So I'll turn this over to you, Hongfu. Thank you for doing this.
All right. I'm not muted. Good. So I am going to work from the assumption that some of you may not have used Canvas for teaching before. So we'll start from the very basics in grades. Everything in Canvas's gradebook works off of points out of points. Even though you can display an assignment's grade in terms of percentage, complete, incomplete, letter grades, or GPA scales, at the end of the day, what matters is it's worth 10 points and students got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 10 points. You can make an assignment. You can check this box to make an assignment not go towards the final grades. The equivalent for quizzes is you can make a quiz into a practice quiz. In order to enter grades for, let me minimize this real quick. In order to enter grades for an assignment, it needs to be published, and you publish an assignment by making sure there's a big green thing to the right of it. Those 5 are published, this one's not, and you publish it by just clicking on it. And then if you need to unpublish it, you click on it again, and it'll turn back to that. And the unpublished assignment will still show by default in the gradebook. However, you just cannot put in grades for it. At the end of the day, what matters for cases is letter grades, right? A, B, C, D, F, or complete, complete, and incomplete. That is set up by going to settings and enable course grading scheme. This is the default grading scheme at K-State, which is just 90, 80, 70, 60. If you want to adjust that, you can go to manage grading schemes. You can create a new grading scheme. Let's call this demo grading. Go ahead and remove the A minuses and B pluses of the world. So it's only A, B, C, D, F, or complete, or it needs to be C, R, and C. I don't know what it stands for, non-credit and credit, but that's the denomination that can get copied into cases at the end of the semester. You can tweak the numbers here to 1 digit after after the period. So it can be like 94.1, but it cannot be 94.11 last I checked. And those will apply to the course grade book. So students with a 94 in the class will display an A on the right side. For I know some of you use non-traditional, non-numeric based gradebook that's letter grade based, and sometimes it doesn't add up properly with numbers in mind. For those people, I would recommend just not enabling the course grading scheme, but make your grading scheme very clear to the student via syllabus or other communication, and then you can manually enter the grade into cases. Not everybody needs to live within this box. A lot of you are familiar with how the old gradebook works with muting. When you have an assignment muted, you can enter grades. The student does not see the grades, and student cannot see grade changes. With the new gradebook, that thing got more complex, but it also got a bit more flexible. The new thing is called grade posting policy. By default, the course is set to automatically post grade, which means you type in a grade for a student, it automatically goes out to the students. You can maybe hide it afterwards, but a lot of students have the notification set up where every time they get a score change, they get an email right away. So if you want to work on your grades at first without the student knowing and then publish them all together, at a later time, I would recommend changing the course grading rule, grade posting rule to manually post grade. This can also, you can see whether or not an assignment is manual grade posting by seeing that it has the word manual next to the out of however many points. Oftentimes it will not show because there are too many columns and the columns are too narrow and you just need to widen it, and manual is there. The grade posting policy can be toggled on a assignment basis as well by going to the three dots here and then go to grade posting policy. If I change this one to automatic, it just doesn't have the word manual next to it. And I can enter grades for the students below and it goes out right away to the students. However, if I enter the grades to a manual grade posting assignment, you will see this icon, and that just means there are some grades within this column that is hidden to the students. If you don't want to overcomplicate things, I would recommend just leaving assignments on manual grade posting policy, grade everything, and then go to the three dots and then post grades, and then post grades for everyone. I'm gonna go into the weed a little bit here. May or may not need to know this. If you post grade to everyone, it means that the grades are posted for those two persons, but also any future grade you input are also automatically posted to the class. So you see that icon did not show up when I enter more grade. However, if you, by the way, when you hit post grade, it will have it will have a red dot on the top left corner of the students whose grades are currently hidden. So when you post grade and you only post the graded students, what this means is that the grades is only posted for the top two students right now. And if you enter more grades, the icon will show up again. It means the top two grades are posted, but those two are not posted. If you go to post grades again, it will show that those two are the only grades that's not posted. Again, I feel like this is a little overcomplicating things, so I would recommend if you need to review grades before publishing it, set it to manual, grade everything, review everything, make sure everything's good to go, and then just post grade everyone. You can make assignments that's only assigned to part of the class. By default, the assignment is assigned to everyone, but you can remove that and only select specific people within the class. And you'll get a warning that not everybody is assigned this assignment. What it will look like in the gradebook is that for the student not assigned to this assignment, it will just be grayed out. You will not be able to enter grades for that student. Groups can be set up to weight the class grades, and that is done by going to, sorry. That is done by the way, when you first start a class, there will be one assignment group and it's called assignments. You can create more group by clicking on plus groups and then giving it a name, and it will look just like this with the name you entered and no assignment in it. You can move assignments around to different groups by using the 8 dot thing to the left and then drag and drop them into different groups. Why group is nice is sometimes a lot of classes decide to drop the lowest 1 or 2 homework, and that can be done through groups. You just put all the homework into one single group. You go to the 3 dots, you hit edit, and here you have the option to drop the lowest 1 or 2 scores. You can also drop the highest X amount of score, but I don't know anybody that does this. Probably useful for K to 12, maybe. Assignment group is also useful if you need to use assignment group weighting. By default, if you don't do any weighting, the gradebook works off of pure points. So there are 5 homework that's published. There are 3 tests, and they are 450 points total. So homework 1 is worth exactly 1/10 of test 1. That's pretty straightforward. However, sometimes a lot of people's gradebook does not add up that neatly, but they have something in the syllabus that says homework is worth 33% of the grade or something like that. You can assign group weight by going to the 3 dots on the very top right of assignments. Go to assignment group weight, check this box. We will make homework 50% and test 50% right now. Now, it really doesn't matter that homework 1 is worth 10 points and test 1 is worth 100 points. Whatever percentage student get in this section total, let's say somebody has a 50 out of 50, then they got perfect credit out of 50% of the course total. And same thing for this section. If they get 300 out of 400, then they have 75 out of the second 50% of the course total. So points only matter for in relation to other things in the same assignment group. So test 1 and test 2 are worth the same combined as the final, but the 100 point here and 10 point here just doesn't matter because they are not in the same group. Turning this off for a second, let's talk about extra credit. If you don't have any group weighting set up, extra credit is very straightforward. You create an assignment called extra credit, and you make it an assignment out of 0 points. So it only increases the numerator for the student, but not the denominator. So you need to decide how many points. Let's say I want the extra credit to be worth 10 points. You just go into the gradebook and we'll just use this one. and they get, yes, they get 2.22% extra credit. You can do the math. It's just 10 divided by 400 450 is 2.22%. It gets a little bit more complex if you are doing assignment group weighting. If you're doing assignment group weighting, you can still do extra credit this way. Just know that it changed the people's percentage within this group. So let's say he did 4 homework, perfect, and then he didn't do the 5th one, and he gets a full credit for extra credit, then he gets 100% in homework still. And it still calculates a percentage in a category and then add it to the total. There is a different way of doing extra credit, whereas we will name this one extra credit. This number down here, all the group weighting together can add up to more than 100%. And that means there are more than 100% of the class credit available. However, with assignment weighting, you need to get some kind of percentage out of every group. This thing cannot be out of 0 because you can't divide by 0. So if you want to do 5% of total class credit as extra credit, you need to create an extra credit assignment in here that's worth some points. 5 points is fairly convenient because it's 1 point for 1 extra percent. So we'll give them 5 points. And then they get 105%. And if you give them 3 points instead, they are at 103%. Couple of additional things with Gradebook. There is an option to message student who. It's a conditional messaging. You can message students that score not well in a test. You can, for a quiz, you can message student who hasn't taken it. Just have them a reminder, give them a reminder telling them that they need to catch up, or I don't know, congratulate the people that gets perfect score too. It works both ways. You see those lines within Canvas, those are the default grade, and they are kind of, I would not leave those lines there if an assignment is past due and there's no way for a student to make up an assignment. Leaving it aligned causes some confusion from the student's end. Canvas has 2 ways of calculating final grades. One where the lines are excused, and another one where the lines are treated as 0. And on the student end, the check it is decided by 1 check mark. So if you leave the line as is, student might have that check mark unchecked, and they might have an idea that they have a higher score in the class than they actually do. So if an assignment is past due and you still have people that just didn't do it and actually has a 0 for that assignment, what I would recommend doing if you have a large gradebook and you don't want to go in and replace every dash with 0 is what you can click on the 3 dots. You can click set default grade. Do not check this box. Checking this box overwrite all the scores. If you do not check this box, what you type in here will overwrite all the dashes. And it essentially replaced the 2 dashes with 0. Not very helpful for a class of 6 people, very helpful for a class of 150 people. And there's just no confusion there. They realize they got a 0 on that, their grade dropped, they need to catch up. There's a function called curve grade. I would discourage you very hard to not use it. It's not very flexible. And then grade curving cannot be undone. Once you do it, the grades just changed forever. there are ways for us to go through the gradebook history and then manually enter the old grade, but it is a very tedious process. Speaking of which, gradebook history is a great thing to talk about. If you go to gradebook and then gradebook history, it shows a list of all the gradebook changes, who made it, when it was made, the before and after scores. You can filter by students, you can filter by grader, you can filter by assignment, you can filter by start and end date, but probably less useful than those other 3 filters. This is extremely helpful if you need to see what happened to one student's grading a big test or something. Maybe a grader accidentally type a 0 or something. Go back to grades. It used to be you can click on this out of 0 to sort the grades, but that is no longer the case, which is good. It's less confusing. Sorting is done now through the 3 dot. You go to 3 dot, sort by grade low to high or grade high to low. The 3 dot also exists under student name. You can sort by just name. Oh, is that right? No, that is reverse. Sort by name A to Z. Some of you will also notice that we have this semester a WID column in all the generated courses, but it doesn't have WID in them. That was my bad. We turned off the WID generation in it, but we forgot to turn off the WID column generation. Next semester, that WID column will not generate. We no longer do that hacky way of putting WID into the gradebook, because you can do that natively in the gradebook now. You just click on the 3 dot next to the student name, secondary information, SISID. Those are my test account. They have some weird WID, but for normal student, it will show the 9-digit number that starts with an 8. That is WID number. That's all I have. What kind of question do we have? If I give a quiz through Canvas but do not use the gradebook, how do I get? By the way, you can unmute your mic now if you want. If I give a quiz through Canvas but do, I would just make it clear to this. Is your plan to just hide the gradebook from students so there's no gradebook visible to the students in Canvas? Is that what you are thinking, Dan? Don't use it at all. Okay, so if you don't use it at all, you can hide gradebooks by going to settings, navigation, and then just disable gradebook. So yeah, that way gradebook's not visible to the students. You can still access it. Yeah, if you take a quiz, you can still just access it by going to quizzes. And I don't have any quizzes here. Let's see. You can still go to quizzes, and then on the right side there will be a SpeedGrader link that you can use to access individual submissions, or you can use quiz statistics to get an overview of what people answered for each question. So you don't have to use the gradebook. You can still access the quiz results just fine. Yeah, totally. Totally, Laura. Any other questions? Do you want? Oh.
Looks like everyone's hit that 4:30 time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hongfu, for all your work this afternoon. And thank
Thank
you
you.
everyone for attending our training sessions. I hope you found it helpful. Please remember that we are recording this session and others that you can utilize our resources. You may also email us at gcid@k-state.edu. And of course, the help desk is helpdesk@ksu.edu. And I'm going to post these in the chat here in just a second, so we have these for everyone. And there's also, like I forgot to mention, the K-State Keep Teaching training sessions page and other sessions that are through this transition, and those are in the chat box. And I think we're all set. Hongfu, if you want to stop the recording, I think we're done for the day.
All right. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.